Someone's at work right now and they haven't slept in 3 months. So shout out to the moms.
Calling all supermoms. Grab your coffee, tea, water, smoothie, wine, or a cocktail, and join us for a dose of laughter, camaraderie, and the reassurance that you are not alone. We're diving into the complexity of modern motherhood because every mom deserves a mic drop. I'm Vanessa McAfee,
And I'm Renee Arthur.
and we are the hosts of the Motherhood Moments podcast. We are two sisters from Michigan who both had babies during the pandemic. After a few years of getting this new role of motherhood under our belts, we felt curious about how other moms are doing this mom thing. We decided to dive deeper and interview some amazing moms in our network, and we want to bring you into our network and share their stories with you.
In this first episode, Vanessa and I are going to ask each other some questions so that you can get to know us before we introduce you to our amazing guests this season.
All right, let's tell our listeners a little bit about each other. You want to go first?
Yes, I will go first. Hi, I'm Renee Arthur, and I am the little sister. Vanessa is my older sister. So she is the boss. She tells me what to do and where to be. And so I'm going first with the introductions. I am from Detroit, born and raised, and I have spent most of my career after college working in the city of Detroit, working as a tech professional, doing software development. I really enjoy working in tech. I'm a big nerd. And I was very career focused and wanted to accomplish some things before I got married and before I had a baby. And I would say, in general, I was able to do that. I was able to reach my goal salary and really feel fulfilled and feel like I know who I am before I met my husband. And then we were together for 2 years before we had our first child. We had a boy, and he is 2.5 years old now. So lots of transitions happening fast between the pandemic, getting married, and having a pandemic baby. But that's me.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm the big sister, and I have been back in Michigan for the last 6 years. I am also from Detroit. I was born in Ohio, but raised in Detroit. And after college, I moved to California, to the Bay Area, with my then boyfriend, now husband. And we spent about a decade out in the Bay Area. And I was really ready to come back home, come back to Michigan to be closer to family, closer to Renee, and start a family. And me and my husband have been together 13 years now. And after about 10 years, we had Lolo, and she's 3 years old now. We live in Ann Arbor, and I get to see my sister not as much as I'd like. I wish she lived a lot closer to me, but we're doing this podcast so we can see each other more frequently. And I'm so excited that she decided to do this with me, or she listened to me and let us do this. All right. Renee, how was bedtime? How did it go?
Bedtime today was chaotic and not really successful. So, recording these podcasts have really challenged me to get really tight with my schedule and timing of bedtime. And so, I was aiming to have my son BK in the bed by 9:50 so I could talk to him and read to him and just get him settled. But I wasn't able to get him to bed on that timing. And then when it came time to record the podcast, he was just yelling and screaming. So his dad came downstairs to get him. So I don't even know if he's asleep yet.
Does he usually take him into his bed or soothe him and then put him back to bed?
No, he'll just take him upstairs and let him fall asleep. And then sometimes we carry him downstairs while he's asleep and put him back in his bed. So bedtime was unsuccessful.
But you're here.
Oh, I'm here, which is great. How's bedtime for you today?
Okay, I think it's funny. I think the cousins were definitely on the same wavelength. Bedtime was also very chaotic at my house. I think it was rough because we did hair today, and hair requires sitting still in front of the TV for a lot of hours. Especially today, we did a trim. We were doing hair for 3 hours. And I always feel like when Lolo is watching TV for a long time, her behavior is just a little bit different. She doesn't normally watch much TV. We had a late dinner, late bedtime. I think she got out of her bed maybe 6 times, and then I took her back each time. So I think the last time was 9:05. So we spent quite a lot of time going back and forth to the bed. And it's different things that she wants. She wants water. She has a booger in her nose. She forgot to tell me something. The window's open. Each time there's a new reason why she's out of the bed. Oh, but yeah, it was a little bit more chaotic than normal.
Okay, that happens. And then I was thinking today about how the sun is going down later a little bit, which makes me happy, but I'm like, is that throwing things off as well with the energy in the evening time?
Yeah, sun's going down like around 6:30.
It was about 6:20 today. Really excited for spring.
Me too.
So if you don't know, we are in Michigan. I live in the Metro Detroit area, right outside of Detroit. I don't know if Vanessa identifies with Metro Detroit.
No, I would not say that to somebody who lives in the area, but I do tell people that if they have never been to Michigan and I'm trying to orient to where I live, because not everybody knows where Ann Arbor is, but everybody knows where Detroit is.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not too far. I don't know why she said that I'm not that close. I'm pretty close.
You're far. It's over a 30-minute drive between us. Close is 15 or less.
Very true, very true. But I am thinking and researching about where we can move next. So maybe we'll end up closer to Ann Arbor. What surprised you most about becoming a mother?
What surprised me the most at first, and I don't know why, because you always hear about new parents not really sleeping, but I think it really surprised me how little sleep I really got the first year of being a mom. Of course, the first couple weeks are pretty crazy, but it extends past that. If you're waking up in the middle of the night to breastfeed or to pump, for half a year, I was waking up multiple times a night. And I don't really feel like I was prepared for that. That really surprised me. I like sleep, and I would say I'm still gaining my sleep back, even with a 3-year-old. She wakes up sometimes middle of the night and she'll be at my bedside, and I have to get up and take her to her bed or take her to the bathroom. And so a full night's rest just alone and on my own, like, what is that? So I think that surprised me a lot. I feel like parents are very sleep deprived, and if you are a parent, you probably know, but I don't really think I cared about that at all before becoming a mom. I worked with moms. I don't think I ever thought that they were not sleeping at night, even when they were back to work from maternity leave or something. So that really surprised me and continues to surprise me.
It's a great answer. I feel like it's kind of a hot take or controversial to even say out loud. That's how hush hush it is. I reflect on this a lot because I have the same answer about what surprised me the most about becoming a mom, the lack of sleep and just how our bodies can even function in that sleep deprivation and still do so much.
Yes.
That's a marvel. And then also how common it is, and yet you barely hear about it. I haven't even ever seen a single TV show that talks about like postpartum sleep deprivation.
That's true.
It's like, wait, what? And this is happening all the time. And there's funny things that happen, but it's also horrifying at times. It can be kind of funny when you're up in the middle of the night. I've had chuckles when someone else who's a mom was also up in the middle of the night. We laughed together about being up in the middle of the night.
It is funny. I remember being up late and texting another mom friend at 2 a.m. and then like getting a response back.
Mhm. It's just a complete lifestyle change. It's like you're on the night shift or something. And yeah, so that definitely surprised me. I had really, really bad sleep deprivation, made lots of rookie mistakes around that. Not sleeping when the baby was sleeping and taking it serious to get my rest. I didn't take it serious. And so I found myself very, very sleep deprived for 4 months straight. And it was really bad for me. It wasn't great.
How did you get it back under control?
It actually didn't get better until BK's sleep patterns changed. And he was started sleeping in longer stints of time.
Hmm.
And then I took sleep training seriously, thanks to Vanessa. And we started attempting to sleep train him at 5 months. And he was sleep trained at 5 months and 3 weeks. And then I just remember the first time I really slept for 6 hours. So that was a surprise. Yeah. And then you go back to work and you're working and you're sleep deprived.
Yeah, and your brain isn't working right, but you can't really tell anybody about it.
It's strange. Look, now I understand why people don't go back to work. I used to seem so extreme. Like, what do you mean you just don't go back?
You're completely sleep deprived. And then going back to emails and early morning meetings. At least for us, we were remote
Or even driving.
because we had pandemic babies. So, I mean, I couldn't even imagine getting presentable and driving, commuting.
I know people have done it though. That's the thing about it. It seems so extreme, but someone's doing that currently right now. Someone's at work right now and they haven't slept in 3 months. So shout out to the moms. That's why we're here to give these shout outs of these moments that actually exist.
What's been the biggest challenge you've faced as a mom so far?
I want to answer this question in a specific way because I see it as a glass half empty, half full. So I could talk about the challenges of just parenthood that I do believe that moms and dads both experience, or anyone who just takes in a child with the adjustments, the financial changes, and the responsibility changes. So I'm not going to answer from that perspective. I'm going to talk about the challenges of like, I've got my mom hat on and I've got a challenge.
Okay, we need mom hats.
So I would say teaching BK not to hit. So I have a Bam Bam baby. He's a little wild. Bad. That's not bad. Because I think he's gonna be tough and it's gonna be hard to pick on him when he's a little older. I'm not sad about it, but he started really hitting aggressively, mainly me, but also other people when he was like 1 year old. He was so little, could barely understand, and but just had just raw emotion and it would just channel through boom. And just really trying to understand the pattern of it and then trying to address it because he was going to daycare full time and I didn't want him hitting any of his friends at daycare. They always called them friends.
Always friends.
BK hit a friend today. That's been my biggest challenge. And it has gotten better. So I didn't give up. And I would say I did a combination of parenting style for that one. Shout out to the gentle parents. That's not me, but I want to shout them out.
Okay, I'm right here.
Hey,
I'm a first generation gentle parent.
yeah, we don't do gentle. And I love it. I really do. But I tried to take some of the mindset of gentle parenting and combine it with the old school.
Hmm.
I do this hybrid, but I did have to teach him what it feels like to be hit because he was missing that part. That's not a part of gentle parenting. That's why I always like shout out to the gentle parent. That's not me. And I have strong feelings about why I'm taking that approach, but nothing too extreme. And I actually was having him tap his own face. So it was a gentle tap, but I wanted him to understand what he was doing with his hand. And so it wasn't so much me hitting him, it's like him hitting himself so that he could get the concept
Yeah.
and using the word hit and saying, don't hit. There is a challenge though. It went on for months and it comes back every once in a while now. And I was mainly the target of the hitting. So it was very challenging.
The aggression and the hitting, like it's so normal. And I think I was reading something that was talking about how it's like it's just the natural human response. Your fight or flight is just like basic. And so it's a really a hard thing to teach to go against your nature because that's just what your nature is telling you to do. You're upset, natural to like hit or have some reaction, a physical reaction, or to run
Mm-hmm.
away. I'm glad you've also figured out like hybrid parenting approach. I think it's really important to, I feel like I have even have, even though I think I'm a gentle parent, I think I have a hybrid approach as well. I don't do everything you see on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Instagram though for all of the parenting help. Because I definitely leaned on that as a resource, definitely during the pandemic, or just ideas.
We're going to tag Vanessa's favorite Instagram accounts for parents in the description below so you can check them out.
For me, the biggest challenge, and I'm still in this one, is I think being the mom of a shy child, but also being an introvert myself. My daughter is really shy when it comes to being around new people, new family members, just new situations. She just goes inside of herself and she just takes time to like warm up. And I think it's okay. I try to tell her it's okay. But then there are certain situations where it's really challenging, like when she's ignoring family. You know, people are talking to her and she's ignoring them and just trying to navigate how to like make space for her as she evolves and grows and like her comfortability with people, but also teaching her about respect and how to be and interact with others. One of the main things I'm working with her on now is just even getting comfortable, like being away from me, like being apart from me is something I have to work with her on. And it's challenging because I see a lot of kids that separate from their parents fine. And I just know that like I always dread that moment when that's coming, like have to do a sport or an activity and it's like the kids have to go and be away from their parents, I know she's going to have a hard time. And I'm never fully prepared for how hard it's going to be for her. And so, yeah, it's just a challenge, the main challenge I'm dealing with. I think that's been the hardest one because I mean, she has been this way since I think she was like 4 months old. Like she had really early stranger anxiety, is like what they call it. And I kind of, watched her develop that early and then also watched the other kids kind of grow out of it. And then she was still in it. And she's still in it.
Very much so. I love it when I see Lolo and her reactions to just even me. They're great. But I know her so well. I think I see it differently than when people don't. She loves her mommy. Ooh, she loves her mommy.
Yes. So, I mean, and that's a wonderful thing. Like we have a very secure bond and attachment. And I'm very thankful for that.
It's locked
It's
in.
locked in.
You know that song, Twin? Where
Where have
have
you
you
been?
been?
Yeah, that's her. Nobody knows her like me.
And she's so intelligent. So it's like she knows that. So she's not really trying to explore other experiences with other adults. It'll be perfect with my mommy.
Yeah. I think a recent example is like we're doing soccer and, there's other adults there to kind of help out with the soccer. They tell the parents to kind of, stand on the sidelines or sit in the bleachers. And Lolo barely wants to separate from us. But then if another adult comes up to her and asks her, "Do you want to play with me?" or like just tries to get her involved, she just bursts into tears. Right. And I see it coming. Like I know it's gonna happen. And then I watch it happen. And I want to tell them not to talk to her. But I also, don't want to tell them not to talk to her because that's what they're there to do.
Hmm.
And but I watch the whole thing play out and I'm like, oh no, somebody talk to her.
The way that we know it's going to happen because we know our children
You
so
know
well,
your kid.
it's really uncanny. It doesn't apply for other children. For me, I can't always predict it, but I feel like I always know. Every once in a while, I'll be wrong
True. Yep, they can surprise you.
because they'll have like a leap and then they're like onto some new stuff. It's like, whoa, I've never seen you
Right.
do that before. Wow. Well, I just love hearing you just explain how you approach it because that's amazing. It's just such a shift and a change of being so mindful of her personhood. And I just think that's so important. Okay, what's one parenting hack you swear by?
Ooh, I got a few.
Ooh, give us the hacks. Give us the hacks.
Okay. I swear by baby-led weaning for feeding babies. It's basically where when you're introducing solid foods to your infant, you, as much as possible, you try to like feed them what you're eating and you try not to spoon feed them, like you let them hold their own food. And I think also you try to introduce like a lot of different types of foods and you don't focus too much on like how much are they eating and just exposing them to different types of food.
Mm-hmm.
It's really challenging. It's not easy, but I do see a lot of the benefits of doing it and just getting your kid like comfortable with eating. And I think it helps to avoid picky eating. Another hack I swear by for potty training, I swear by the oh crap method. Built into this is another hack. I swear by audiobooks for parenting books. Like if there's any topic you want to like learn about and read about it, like don't buy the book, just get the audiobook and listen to it on at least 1.5 speed so you can get through that and listen to it in your car or whenever you're have some time when you could, maybe you normally be listening to music, just throw on your audiobook. But yeah, that method for potty training, I know a lot of people who have used it and it works really well. So if you're in the midst of the potty training struggle, I definitely recommend that. What are yours?
Well, I'm gonna stick to the question and just do one.
I got excited.
But that's because I don't have as many gems as you in general when it comes to hacks, and I just follow yours. So, one hack that I have that I swear by is washing your hands and your baby or toddler's hands at daycare before you leave. Using hand sanitizer in the car is one thing. I did that, but I saw a major improvement of incidences of getting sick when I implemented this hack of washing both of our hands. They have a little sink and we just use their soap and it just works really well. And we haven't been getting as sick for it's been months.
Wow.
It's to the point where if BK's dad picks him up and he doesn't do this hack,
Ooh, y'all sick, right?
the next day he'll be sick.
Wait, wait, break down this hack again. Is when you get there or when you
Pick up.
pick up? Okay. Wash the hands at pickup. I'm gonna start
Mm-hmm.
doing this. I'm implementing this hack this week.
And always use hand sanitizer for like after drop off. And I try not to like eat anything until I've washed my hands. I just treat the daycare center like super, super germy. And it's something about those germs. Like, I just don't think the hand sanitizer can get all of those baby germs. Um, so yeah, that's been really, really helpful. That's a hack that I swear by. Maybe you don't have to do it for a baby, but I would say even a crawling baby.
Hmm.
If you're just out of the newborn stage, like from crawling going, soap and water on the hands, 20 seconds every time.
And if you can't do that, maybe like hand sanitizer and then wash hands as soon as you get home.
Yes. Or even like a little soap and water by the car, by the side of the car, or just any method that you swear by. Because there's actually like wipes
Right?
too. I've never explored those, but that one is a game changer that dramatically improved my quality of life as a full-time daycare mom.
Yeah, because the colds are incessant. Thing that surprised me.
I think my biology nerd hat on, that one doesn't surprise me.
I knew they would be sick. I didn't realize how much I would also get sick.
I feel bad telling everyone the truth. It's like, if you don't have any children, please don't let these things discourage you from having children.
Okay, Renee, try to describe your parenting style in 3 words. I know you said it's hybrid. Give it to us in 3 words.
First word is a compound word, tiger mom. Second, communicative. Third, bestie.
Oh,
So the first one, tiger mom. I am the type of mom that is really thinking about high school success in like a well-rounded, like you gotta have friends, you gotta have good grades, you gotta have a nice bank account already.
got a bank account.
You gotta have these skills. I want you to be well traveled by 10. Yes. Because it's really changed. It changed with the Gen Z. Like people started like learning how to have more money earlier. So I think even with Gen Alpha, we're gonna see like 10-year-olds with these like brokerage accounts that their parents started.
Lolo has one.
Yeah, I'm gonna start one for BK because he needs one. And I'm like very much like, oh, that's what you're doing. Oh, that's what
Hmm.
we're doing. So that to me is the tiger mom in me. I very much adapt to like what, however I define success. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you did. So I listen to moms of older children. Any tips? Like I adapt it, and it's like I take those things very seriously, and I like to plan out way ahead of schedule. I really planned the pregnancy and I took even planning that very seriously. So it's a term that's used for not quite helicopter, but very serious stalking success in the background. That's what you're stalking as a tiger mom. Success. Okay, and it has to happen. The second, communicative, I'm very talkative and I like to talk a lot about what's going on, describing the situation, talking about feelings, encouraging BK to talk to me, talking about fun things, talking about the food or at the grocery store. So I don't know. I just feel it's really important to talk. And then the last one I said was bestie. So right now, BK is our only child, and our relationship may change in the future, but we have those bestie moments where we just hold hands and jump and laugh.
Oh,
And I'm like, is it because I'm your bestie or is it because you don't have like anyone else to do this with at home? But for now, I, as a mom, fill in that role for him so that he can have those moments with someone. So we laugh a lot together. I try to watch TV with him. So if the TV is on, I try not to like plop him in front of it. I try to watch it with him and even laugh with him and make it a more social thing,
mm-hmm.
because it will break his attention. And then also, we have some inside jokes already about some of the things that we watch together that I can mention even with the screen off that can make him happy or just change his mood. Those would be my three styles and kind of how it weaves together.
Yeah, I love that.
What about you? Can you describe your parenting style in 3 words?
For me, I'm gonna say researched, routine-ish, and child-led. Okay, and I'll explain those. So for research, I think my parenting style is a blend of my own instinct, but also what I read about. So I'm always reading articles. I'm always reading pros and cons of different approaches to things. I'm always finding new accounts to follow. And I don't know, I just like taking it all in, not just like one path, but like all paths. And then for routine-ish, I'm really into routines, but I'm not super strict about them all the time. But I was definitely like when Lola was born, I was on the wake window routine. So it was like she would be awake for 60 minutes, then have to nap for 60 minutes, and I would track it, and I was really into the routine to like get her into a schedule.
I
But
remember that.
yeah, but then it's like if okay, if we can't do the schedule one day, that's fine. I'm not going to try to take the schedule like on the road or to somebody else's house maybe, but at my house, we're doing the routine. And same with eating. Like as soon as it was like time to start eating solid foods, it was like, okay, we're just gonna make sure we have the 5 small meals a day, and here's what we're gonna do. Here's the times we're gonna eat. Keep the routine. We still do that routine actually even now. But then bedtime's a different time every night. But we've got a routine for bedtime. And the routine changes, but we always have one. And then for child-led, I think I really try to approach Lolo kind of like as if she's a peer. You know, I don't tolerate like whatever behavior, but I try to really think of the things that she does and like the desires and wants that she has as like real desires and wants. And so I try to honor that and just kind of follow her lead on a lot of things versus like just making her do things because I want her to do them. So an example of that is eating at dinner. I do want her to eat, but we kind of have figured out that she's not always going to eat all her food. And that's like most toddlers don't eat all their food. I'm not going to force her to eat all her food, but we kind of try to come to an agreement almost like, okay, well, you don't have to eat everything, but you have to taste everything. Like we taste everything in our family. And sometimes we'll do like, okay, you can take 3 bites, but she gets to determine what a bite means. Sometimes a bite is like a nibble, not even like a full bite. And so, yeah, that's just an example. But yeah, I try to just follow her lead and let her kind of guide us as well. It's not just what I think should happen. So, those are my parenting styles.
I've recently learned more about the child led and have included child led play 5 to 10 minutes a day with Hudson.
Okay.
So, get a little window of
A
time.
5 to 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Of play.
A great child-led thing to do is just like to go outside and, maybe you think like we're gonna go on a walk or we're gonna go to the playground or whatever, but just literally just take them out the car and just like walk behind them and watch what they do. I do
Hmm.
this with Lolo a lot, where it's like she's the leader, I'm just gonna follow her. Maybe we make it to the playground, maybe we don't. Maybe we're just in the parking lot looking at cars. Maybe she wants to watch the dog, and I just kind of let her.
Hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like, it's almost like a mindfulness parenting thing.
Yeah.
I find that doing 5 to 10 minutes has been accessible for me. That's something that I definitely can do. I don't know about all day. And then it kind of conflicts with some of my other parenting stuff. So,
Your
my
hybrid style.
hybrid. So, we have some moments. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Renee, how has having children changed the way that we interact with each other as sisters?
That's a very good question. So, I would say I'll share something that I don't even think you know, Vanessa. I feel
Ooh.
like when you had Lolo, it made me feel like, okay, it's time for me to have a baby.
Oh, I know that.
Okay. So it was very woven into how I felt like it was a good time. And when it would get hard, I would just be like, okay, but I have to do this for Lolo so that she can have a cousin.
Oh,
So she needs someone. I don't want her to be alone.
yeah, I don't know if you ever said it like that.
Yes. So that's definitely a part of how I raise BK. And I tell him things about Lolo and just telling him he has to look out for her and pay attention to her and not hurt her. Side eye. So we're working on that.
We're working on that one.
We're working on that one. But I just think it's changed our bond to bring us like closer. It was already close, bring us closer. It's a very interesting bonding as mothers, but also as two aunties.
Hmm.
It's kind of complex. Like we go back and forth. And then because of your wonderful research parenting style, I always learn things from you. And so I get to be a little lazy about my research because I know I can just ask you and you'll probably know.
Yeah, and you need to ask more.
It influences me a lot. So that's how I think so. And then, yeah, it's just interesting because we are 6.5 years apart, but then our children are 1 year apart. So, yeah, that's my answer. It's brought us closer
For
and
sure.
added extra dimensions.
Many, especially because we both had kids during the pandemic, and I'm back in Michigan, so we can see each other.
What do you think? How do you think it's changed things for us as sisters?
I think it allowed us to stay in our already super close relationship. It just kind of naturally fit in. So it's like now there's just the kids too. I actually can't even really remember the time between Lolo being born and BK being born. Sometimes I think about what would it be like if you didn't have him. I think that I would be missing that. I would be missing you in all of my motherhood moments and mom experiences a little bit. So I'm so glad that you did have him because we can just talk about everything.
Including starting our podcast.
Exactly. Now we're doing this. So it's only been for the good. And I think it's just going to get more and more fun as they get older.
Yes. And then the dynamics will change if either one of us has another baby
That's right.
to be continued.
Plus, they're different gender. So that's also just been fun for us because we were sisters, we know girls, and now we get to have fun talking about boy stuff.
It's like adding a whole new seasoning to the mix.
Renee, what is your evening routine? What do you do once BK's gone to bed most nights?
Most nights, myself, I'm going to continue to plow through chores, maybe cooking, some work, answer some emails. So I just try to push to the very end of the day, just the brink of my brain capacity until I can't go anymore. And then I just pass out.
Wow.
Yeah, true story. I'm a pusher. It's the life of a tiger mom.
Right. That's a lot of things you listed.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since I don't work from home anymore. So, kind of to stay on time in the morning, I have to do nighttime prep. It's compulsory, as my husband would say.
You know, I have to agree. It is, I am starting to learn that too. I really was not into doing much cleaning and prep for the next day until like this year, just like a few months ago.
So, we started this podcast and learned some things from our guests.
We learned some things, and you'll get to hear those things soon.
What about you? What is your usual evening routine after bedtime?
Yeah, after bedtime, I usually am ready to just sit down on the couch in the dark, pull out my phone, and I usually do some puzzles to wind down. I'm really still into Sudoku, and so I'll do like a Sudoku level hard puzzle. Usually takes me like 20 to 30 minutes to solve it. And so that's what I will sit and do. And then while I'm doing that, I will sometimes listen to an audiobook or maybe I'll watch TV on my phone, just the audio, just listening while I do my puzzle. Now I'm trying to really like make sure I've cleaned up my kitchen. I kind of have a plan in mind for what's happening the next morning, what lunch I'm going to pack, what snacks. Just continue to wind down. I make some tea.
Ooh, tea.
Yeah, tea has really been, that's if I'm really being good. Because sometimes I have some wine or something, but like I'm really trying to wind down with some tea, maybe about an hour before I'm actually going to go to bed. And I'm going to bed a lot earlier.
Yes. Going to bed earlier. That's a motherhood, parenthood hack.
And by earlier, I mean before 11. Working to my goal bedtime of 10:30.
I have an alarm on my phone that goes off every day at 10:30, and I'm always awake looking at it like, It's kind of like a signal like maybe you should think about going to bed soon. But I'm kind of not ever really in the bed yet. Shout out to the people who can do hard level Sudokus. Shout out to you.
Yeah, they're really fun.
I love that for you.
It's such a simple game. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, select the hard option.
Right. One day. See, Vanessa just like sets these bars, and I'll just like try to work up to that in like 10 years. And I might get there. So thank you for setting that bar.
And watch your time go down. Like maybe the first time takes you an hour.
An hour just doing Sudoku. Shout out to you.
It just really makes me focus. And it's so simple. It's just numbers.
No, I get it. I love a good focus flow. Shout out to you
Thanks.
and anyone also listening who can do a hard level Sudoku.
Shout out to the folks who have watched a Sudoku video on YouTube. Tips and tricks.
Wow, I'm speechless. I don't know why that tickles me so much, but it's just so intense to wind down.
You didn't know that about me?
No, to wind down? I thought that was an afternoon activity for you.
No. It's like my treat for getting through the day. New York Times hard level Sudoku.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Motherhood Moments podcast. We appreciate you because we know life gets busy. Maybe you are doing chores during nap time, on a walk, running errands, or rinsing berries. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Vanessa and I are committed to keep sharing more motherhood wisdom. If you enjoyed this episode, please support us by leaving us a review. That's a wonderful way to show your support and let others know they are not alone. Until next time, and remember to check in on the moms in your life.